Over a fortnight ago, I produced and released a video on my channel saying the Brooklyn Nets are going to win this year's championship. And now it's kind of flipped since a couple of days ago, the shock trade request from Kyrie Irving saying he wants to be out of the Brooklyn Nets Association. Apparently he wasn't getting paid enough, and there was some rumors that his contract had some sort of championship agreement which he wasn't up to or didn't want to fulfill. But yeah, he got traded today. So he got his wish. He got traded to the Mavericks. The Mavericks get him and Markieff Morris. And then Brooklyn Nets get Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and a 2029 first rounder and 2 second rounders. Who won this trade? I think it's pretty close. I think they can both be really happy with this. For one, Mavs get the second star player. They've been looking for a star player. They even said they want to trade those players, like I mentioned, Dorian Finney-Smith or Spencer Dinwiddie, for a star. They're willing to trade him as long as they get a star. And you know, a lot of the NBA community laughed. They said, what kind of star are you going to get for those two players? And Kyrie is the one they get. But in saying that, you know, you're willing to give up those two players, but the 2029 first rounder is pretty massive in terms of draft capital, especially with it being rumored to be an unprotected pick, which is massive. I mean, they could not know where they're going to be in 6 years. Kyrie, if they sign him onto a 4-year extension, that doesn't even get him to 2029. Luka could leave in 5 years. You just don't know. Nothing's predictable. Nothing's ever certain in this league. But as of right now, this is an absolute win in my books for the Mavericks. They get a second star. They're probably, do they rank the best defensive team at the moment? I'd say so. I do think it does a huge hole losing those two players in terms of defensive structure, size in the paint. And I really think they're going to get punished when they verse really drive heavy teams. They're going to get punished on anyone with big boys that can score the basketball. Like when you got Sabonis from the Kings, I think he will have field days in the paint there. I think Embiid is obviously going to drop 50 plus. Then you've got teams like LeBron and AD with the Lakers. They're going to just drive the heck out of them. They'll be almost unguardable going in there. So I think they're definitely going to struggle in that sense. And then you go the other way around. How good are the Brooklyn Nets now? What happens with them? Does KD stay now he doesn't have a second star? Does Ben Simmons? What do they do with Ben Simmons? I mean, are they tradable? If KD goes, they're just going to try to rebuild everything. So maybe get rid of Ben Simmons, maybe get rid of Patty, maybe get rid of Harris. All the semi tradable pieces they have, or valuable pieces that might be valuable for challenging teams, contending teams, would they ship them off and just go for a full rebuild? Or it all really stands down to if KD wants to stay or not. I think if KD stays, this is a great team still. I think they even got better. Their offensive strength is always going to be there with Nick Claxton being a great offensive thing in the paint. Ben Simmons, if he can pull back what he was in Philly, he can really stretch the floor defensively and offensively. KD is one of the best scorers that the league's ever seen, and now you've put in 2 more role players that are pretty good off the shot and can defend anyone as well. They're very good stretchers, wing defense, and they can score in the paint pretty easily too. I mean, it's a pretty good trade for KD if he can just stay and prove how much of a leader he is to the rest of the community and show that he's not just going to up and abandon a team but just because it doesn't have name place values like Kyrie Irving or James Harden. And really imagine if he can build up Ben Simmons' confidence again and get him playing at his best and have Patty Mills on the bench. They've still got a lot of shooting power with Curry also off the bench as well as Harris. They've got shooters there and they've got drivers. I think they're probably the well balanced. This makes them more well balanced than they were before. Like their bench beat the Wizards the other day. So they've got a very solid and strong bench. And that was without KD, Simmons, and without these 2 players as well. And Kyrie, Kyrie obviously wasn't playing that game as well. And they won. And they looked very good. It was a comeback too. So they had to score the ball. But yeah, that's what I got to say. I think Brooklyn is still in a very good spot for it all. I think they're still a contender. I don't think they drop out of it, especially they still have KD. They're around the top 4 still. I still think they stay there at the end of the year. KD, if he's fit or if he's not, if he stays, they can still defend. They can still definitely contend because defense wins games. Now, if we jump over to the Mavs, where does it leave the Mavs? Does this jump their chances? Of course, it jumps their chances. You paired two of the best offensive players at the moment in terms of efficiency and in terms of scoring the ball. They're just the best. Luka is one of the best young players we have. He can shoot the ball with ease. He can drive the basketball pretty well as well. And Kyrie's got the handles, and they're both great playmakers. So I really think they can make space for themselves, but one of their biggest strengths as well is they can create space for others. So if they can create space for each other, which they've been known for making like one of the best space players that we have in the league at the moment, there's going to be very open shots that both these guys are going to get a game, and they're pretty efficient and they're going to drain them. So they're going to put on some pretty high scores and work off each other. I think they're guaranteed double-doubles every single game, those two playing with each other. I think Kyrie averages 10 assists now with Luka by ease, and I think he still averages over 20 points. And I think the same over Luka. I think his points might drop down to maybe 20, 25, but I think his assist levels will go up to 15, 18. I do really, truly think that. And I think they're definitely stronger. They're way stronger in the offensive side. But I think they will struggle in the defense. Like I said before, how are they going to go in the playoffs? It's going to be tough. Like in the West there, they're versing some pretty strong firepower in the paint. And you have no size. So I think the Mavs got a lot of work to do to find that. I think they're hoping a couple of injured boys come off and they come back to what they were playing like last year. Where do I think they'll end? I think they make some noise. I do think they make some noise there. I think they could even make the conference. It's just too early to say. It really depends what more they do. If they can bring in some more defense, it's the only hole I see. They bring in some size. They bring in better defense. I really think they're a huge contender for the title. But if I look at the list now, if look at them and I look at Lakers, I don't see too much difference. I still think the Lakers would beat them in a game of 7. And that's not very good, especially with the Lakers looking out of the whole play-in as well. So I think if they somehow made it into the play-in and they're versing the Mavs here in maybe a series, or it could even be a play-in game, I think the Lakers got them over just because of they're going to struggle when teams are trying to drive the ball. And if they can get clamped up, they have people like Kyrie or Luka get clamped, it's going to be hard for them to win games. But yeah, that's my thoughts of this Kyrie Irving trade and where it leaves both teams and what I think they need to do to improve going forward. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and please like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Thank you.